Welcome to The Grind, a podcast about the church planting process and missional strategies to make disciples of all nations. Coming to you from the offices of the Arkansas Baptist State Convention in Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, here are your hosts, Dave McClung and Chad Grigsby.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Idea in Grind podcast land. I'm Dave McClung. That is Chad Grigsby.
Dave, you're wearing the same thing you wore last time.
I have not bathed since we last did this. And so, no, I'm kidding. I have. The flies have nothing to do with my smell. So now we recorded a couple of these in a row. And so, but we're going to pretend this is brand new. And it's a new day, and we just decided to do the same location, same clothing, and everything for this idea. How about that?
Amen. Yeah.
All right. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast with our buddy Ryan Ingold, pastor at Crosspointe Church in Bryant. And Ryan's done an incredible job there. And so for our big idea today, he made a statement and wanted us to kind of riff off of a little bit and talk about some of the things that he talked about in that podcast. He made the statement that they set out to make sure that they were a healthy church, not necessarily a big church. And so the goal was health from the beginning in all aspects of discipleship, worship, ecclesiology, everything. And so there were two or three things that we talked about in the podcast that I think really played into that and then really established a healthy foundation for them as they continue to grow and build at Crosspointe. One was a healthy partner with Geyer Springs First Baptist Church. Great partner church for them, and great support. A second thing was he had an advisory council made up of pastors and friends, outside the church. We'll unpack that a little bit here in a second. And then really just some healthy expectations that, God is the one that causes the growth. We just have to be dependent upon him and do what he's asked us to do, and he'll bring the growth. So great stuff with Ryan. We'll kind of unpack some of those things here a little bit.
Yeah. So with Geyer Springs in that partnership and kind of an overlap with the advisory council, Dave Huey, who's actually, I think, maybe Ryan's kind of supervisor at Geyer Springs, came on the advisory team. So, Geyer Springs having this partnership, it bled over not only into the advisory council, but also into just kind of doing some supporting church work. They what are they, 2.5? No, they're, longer, been around longer than that, 4 years?
Yeah, they're like 3 approaching 4, I guess now. Yeah.
And Geyer Springs still prints their weekly bulletin for them. Yeah. Which is a great, not only partnership and support and leadership, but just some tangible things like printing your bulletin. So, who knew that you could bless a church plant just by letting them have access to your copier or printer or whatever.
Yeah. So and they contributed financially. They gave prayer support. They helped manage some finances early on. And had some great just leadership support for Ryan and his family themselves. But just some of those little things like that, like printing a bulletin, those are some things that we don't think about as big things in a partnership relationship. But for a church plant, that can get pretty costly. And it's just minimal expense for Geyer Springs because of their large printing runs and everything. And so that's a great idea on partnership. Something to think about as churches seek to partner with church planters. Even the little things mean a lot to church plants.
Yeah, and just the spirit of Geyer Springs to send him essentially down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, what is it, like 3 exits, 2 exits?
Yep.
Literally down the street. They could have said things like, we'll reach those people, or, we could reach this, but to send him down the street in the overwhelmingly supportive way that they have. Yeah. I love that. We need more of that.
I do too. We do too. Yeah, I agree. The other thing that we touched on was he set up a 4-person advisory council, which kind of served as kind of some elders for him early on. Dave Huey, pastor at Geyer Springs, was on there. Chad and I both were part of that advisory
Bless his
council.
heart.
I know, and he survived, and they're still going. So
Amazing.
it's incredible. And then Ben Phillips, who was on staff at the Arkansas Baptist State Convention, but also a member at Crosspointe, one of the founding kind of core team members, and a great guy, and who also just became pastor in Texas. Congratulations, Ben.
Yeah.
And in Murphy, Texas, getting a good one there. And so what we did was kind of help them think through their constitution bylaws, think through initial mission strategies, disciple making strategies, kind of all their systems and processes, and we're able to give input and feedback to Ryan as a sounding board. I think he would tell you, really turned out to be pretty invaluable, and it was great for us as well, particularly doing what we do, here at the state convention. So
I really loved it, being a part of it, and I think it was tremendous for him to have the voices, and more church plants should do this. In fact, we're gonna have a follow-up article on that, kind of how to set that up. What does it kind of do? How do you set it up? So be looking for that as well on absc.org. But, I think too, this was an unforeseen role of the advisory team, but we actually helped the church buy property. They weren't planning to do that, but they got just a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah.
And we helped lead them to do that. Of course, the church was aware of that and didn't do that independently of the church. But man, can you imagine if they were going to do that without the advisory team, how much more challenging that process would have been to purchase land, or not land, but property a year and a half in.
Yeah. And we went with them and looked at, 3 or 4 different places. And then this one popped up where they're meeting now. And just a great opportunity. God kind of dropped in their laps, and so that was didn't foresee that coming along, but really were able to give some good help there and connect them with some people that really helped make that possible. And so
the church maybe a couple of times had to be thinking, what are these people doing? But they gave plenty of time for discussion and input, and they had a couple of church members that were directly connected to the advisory team. So it's not as shady as it sounds, but no, I think that team served the church really, really well.
Yeah. And then, last thing, just building healthy expectations. If your goal is church health, then you're not going to compromise on theology and methodology, ecclesiology to get bigger numbers. You want to make sure that folks understand the gospel, understand the mission, understand the vision, and that every step of the way that's reinforced and people are engaging and plugged in and they're doing life together. All these things that we want to happen and hope will happen. They were very intentional in trying to make sure that happened. And the reality is that we have no control over the growth, who responds to the gospel and who doesn't. That's Holy Spirit's business. And so there's a healthy dependency that has to happen there along with those expectations. And God's blessed them. They're growing, they're doing well. And so that was a great foundational goal to set out for.
Yeah. I think Ryan said, you're not in control. We're not in control. God said he's going to build his church. You can't send the rain. Only he can do that.
Yeah.
And so that does create, I think, a dependence. Not that we don't work, not that we don't do and strategize and plan and go, but realizing that the Lord builds his church is a really good, I think, healthy expectation that, unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain, So
that's it.
Really good time with Ryan.
It was. He's such a sharp, systematic, methodical kind of guy. I mean, he doesn't make rash decisions. He thinks through them, prays through them. Really doing a great job, and excited what the future holds for Crosspointe. And so,
when you think about Ryan too, I think it's important to point out, and you probably have because you've worked with a lot more planters than I have, but Ryan's not maybe your average planter. He's not, and you'll catch this from the podcast. He's not Matt Chandler charismatic. Not many people are, but
Right.
he. I think we need more Ryan Ingold planters. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
We need all kind of different planters with all different kinds of gift mix to build a team to plant churches. And I think Ryan's a great example of a guy who's kind of introverted and not going to be this, gather all these crowds preacher.
Yeah.
But he's done a really, really, really great job and is doing a great job at planting. So no matter it sounds like a backhanded compliment. I don't mean that at all. I love Ryan to death.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just saying, look, there is no, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, but there is no perfect planter template. God uses all kinds.
Right. That's right. Yeah, Ryan's not a rah-rah guy. He's not.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a much better way to put it.
But solid theologically, solid preacher, solid leader, man, just really done a great job there and continue to do so. And so, yeah, I'd take more Ryans any day. And good dude. Good dude.
Agree.
All right, guys, that's all we got today. And we'll see you next time on The Big Idea. Adios.
Have a good one. See ya.